All right,
Yeah.
here we are. We're actually now live. So, yeah, real quick, Michael. If you're unmuted right now, if there's no audio, you might have to like hang up, like jump out, then jump back in. Sometimes that helps.
There's a little
And
fat
here we have
ball.
we got Mr. Michael Cook.
Hey guys.
What's
Yeah,
up, brother?
we got two Michaels with us. So for Michael Cook, we'll call him Michael Cook, and the other Mike, we'll call him Chew. That's his nickname, Chew. Like kind of like Chewy, Chewbacca. We'll call him Chew. So, all right, man. I know we were talking the other day, Michael Cook. I know there's a lot going on coming up ahead of us. I know one thing you wanted to kind of get into a discussion. I'm anxious to hear about that too. I think that's going to be exciting news. And again, I've been in touch with Don Peak recently, and yeah, for one thing, Don Peak, he actually had his Facebook profile, his Facebook page hacked. He said this ain't the first time it's happened to him, but yeah, he's been hacked recently. But he's working on trying to take care of everything. I advise him to change his password. I don't know, and block the people who are doing that to him because he said he knows who's doing it. So, but
Well,
but on another note, oh yeah, go ahead.
we had a problem whenever he announced my involvement with the team, which there's the big announcement. I am the new Eastern Kentucky investigator for the Don Peak Wilderness Adventures Bigfoot team.
Awesome.
And after I disbanded the Kentucky Sasquatch team, he contacted me and asked me if I would do it, and I said, absolutely, I'll do it. You got your stuff together, and that is something that we need.
He's very organized. Yeah.
Somebody emailed him and told him that I was a deplorable person, and I was like, I am a deplorable person, but I am a serious Bigfoot researcher.
Right. Absolutely.
That's this weekend I'm joining Greg Yost up in the Hoosier National Forest, and we're going to be doing some Sasquatching up there this weekend, and it's going to be completely awesome. Hope to get some evidence. It's been raining over here, so if they're moving around, they will be leaving tracks.
That's what I'm looking for, because the location I was discussing with you yesterday, I will be there. I'll be there this weekend. I will be alone. And I know Shakey's got rain over there. It's raining. It's been raining real good since I've been home this evening. So, and the same thought crossed my mind too. It's supposed to be rainy all weekend. So, but I'm not going to let that stop me.
Right.
But yeah, I'm interested about the getting further into that area, but I wanted to get touch a little bit more about with the Dawn Peak Wilderness Adventure. And now I don't know, I'm kind of afraid to ask you this because I don't know if you want any information put out there yet, but with some of the information that you're working on about August, I don't know if there's anything you can speak on that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about it. We, Jody Cook and myself, along with one more other person that's going to be a silent contributor to this, we are working on a conference that will be known as the Great American Bigfoot Conference. It'll be held in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, next August 25th and 26th and 27th. And we have a big name confirmed speaker that's already agreed to do it for me, and that's none other than Adam Davies. And then we're going to have, Daniel, I think you're going to be a speaker also, right?
Yeah, I'll be honored. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, let me back up. You mentioned the other guy's name. I think you kind of cut out when you said the name. I don't know if anyone else heard it, but it kind of cut out when you mentioned the other person's name.
Adam Davies. He is a cryptozoologist.
Adam Davies. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. See, I didn't catch the name because it cut out on my end. So that's awesome, though. I never met the man. I know
I've never met him either, but I consider him a friend. We've talked a lot, and I asked him to do it, and he was more than glad to go ahead and confirm it. And we were on a talk on the phone a few days and get that going. And man, I'm so happy he signed on. He is now an American resident, so it goes with the Great American theme. And we're going to get a few more. Ed Brown is also a confirmed speaker.
Awesome.
And there's a few more that's going to be joining us also. But we're going to try to get teams from research teams and researchers from all lower 48 states and maybe even Alaska if they can make it. Then we're going to get them down there. If you're a team, if you're watching this, if you're a team and you live in any of the lower 48, contact me, Michael Cook on Facebook. And I'm friends with Daniel and Shaky both. Look me up on their friends. Contact me. You got a free table. Unless you sell merchandise. If you sell merchandise, I have to charge, but that's because of the facility we're using. It's going to be at the Smoky Mountain Conference Center down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, with that being said, I know a few other research groups. Like you said, if they're watching, to contact you, whatever. But I know a few. I'll maybe speak to them individually and throw the word out to them as well. So then if they're interested, I'll let them get any details with you on that. But that is awesome, though. I think I made up my mind. I guess I'm gonna have to move to Kentucky myself too, since everything's happening down there.
That's where it's at, in Kentucky and southern Indiana, baby. I've dropped out, a little bit about why we disbanded the Kentucky Sasquatch team. I know that was my baby and everything, man, and I hated to give it up, but there was so much ridicule and so much backlashing going on in the community that I didn't want it trickling down to my researchers, and I didn't want it being attacked personally. And with disbanding it, I've went back into field research full time, and I'm not accepting any sighting reports. I'll listen to people all they want, and I'll send them over to Charlie Raymond and his group, or Chris Page down in southern Kentucky, or Thomas Shea and Rodney up in northern Kentucky. But I'm not collecting any reports at all, any sighting reports. And I'm strictly back in the field research.
Awesome. Yeah, that's where I feel I get a lot of my enjoyment and relaxation, is being out there, and learning a thing or two while you're out there, Yeah. I know I shared some information on my part with, speaking on the ECBRO Discovery Project. Like I stated a few times, and, we are going to try to keep things very confidential. We feel, a lot of people, I've been asking, well, why don't you just share openly, and, we're all in this together, which we all are. I agree with that, but I think we all know there's a great deal of hoaxing in the Bigfoot community. Even non-believers and stuff, they get word about, hey, this is what you're doing here, or whatever. You don't want to put it out there. It's one thing if they see you out there, because like me, I can't hide my vehicle. I mean, my decals are, all over my vehicle, so I can't really hide that. But where I will be, it is, I guess you could say, it's well off the beaten path. But then again, there is hunters that go into the area. I'm sure they're not going to pay it no mind. I've been questioned before when I'm out in the woods, but yeah, we just want to take precautions. That's part of what we're doing, especially in this new area that we're in. It's like I also mentioned, that we've gathered reports. Specifically, I've gathered a number of reports. I've had photos shared to me. And these reports and people I talk to, they just they're coming out of the woodwork, when they do learn about what you do. I have people pulling their phones out in front of me and like, look, this was here. I found this a year ago. I found this a few months ago, stuff like that. That's what's been happening. It's the most recent activity, which I was discussing with Shaky before we went live. I've kind of gave you some information about it yesterday. But you know, as far as the rock throwing, there was a young couple there that were camping. You know, this was just a little over a month ago. They were camping there, and one of my fellow researchers, Mr. Seaver, he was camping in his spot, which was less than a quarter mile away. Well, the campers came down to him. They saw that he was camping there, and I guess they felt the urge to come share this information. And he took it as if they were warning him, because what they shared with him was, well, while they were camping there, they had these large stones thrown at them, and they heard some kind of screaming vocalization. Well, he didn't, you know, they didn't know him, and they didn't know that he had any involvement in the Bigfoot, you know, world. So after he gathered this information, he felt the urge, yeah, he had to go investigate their campsite. Well, he went to their campsite, and as far as he learned about the direction where the stones came from, he had to go climb up a hill. And after getting so far up the hill, you got an area, there was a power line area. He found where there was a placement of rocks. And also in an area, he found the empty spaces where where rocks were removed completely. And from where their campsite was, he said that had to take somebody with a very strong arm to throw that distance. And let me make this statement here, and I know I shared this with you too, Michael Cook. My researcher, he's actually a skeptic, and he's very, very objective when it comes to the Bigfoot world. But he is also a believer in knowing, you know, he believes that there is something out there. But as far as us, you know, a Bigfoot Sasquatch type subject, he again, he takes this very objectively. And like I said, he's a skeptic, and I'm glad he's on our team, because we need that kind of, you know, I don't know what the right way to put it right now, but we need that on our team and on our side. Somebody that's objective and also familiar with ruling out other, you know, logical explanations of what it could be. Well, he is convinced that what a human couldn't have thrown those size stones from the distance that he discovered into their campsite. Now, he did state this when he was investigating and found the area where the stones were. He himself had actually witnessed a vocalization, and his statement was, it sounded like, these were his exact words. He said it sounded like a freaking monkey screaming in the woods. Those were his exact words. So I was excited when he told me this, and you know, this is the most recent thing that's happened there. So I will be investigating this very same spot. It's only basically a couple days I'll be there, so until further notice. But I've been in contact and I've been in discussion with other members of the team. That Greg Corbin down in Virginia Beach, he's actually working on something right now. It's all part of the Discovery Project, and it's about the whole E.C.B.R.O team organization altogether. So once I learn more on that, what he's putting together and working on for us, I'll be able to share that more openly, get more details. There's no sense to try to get into that right now. But yeah, we're very excited what we got working on here. We're like I said, we're working on establishing a strategy. Right now, we're in the stages of scouting the area, researching it, getting familiar with the rest of the terrain in that area. Like if I take you to my original research area, I mean, I could, walk through there blindfolded pretty much. That's how well I knew the area. Because that's how I believe in, getting to know an area. You want to, you spend quality time there. You dedicate your time and get to know the area. But yeah, that's something we're working on right now. Well, with all that being said, I wanted to talk with you, Shaky. I know we haven't spoken in a little while. I just wonder if there's anything you could share or give us any updates on.
It's getting quiet up here, man. I think that this hunting season's coming in, and up here a lot of people squirrel hunt. A lot of people will be in the woods. So, about 2 weeks ago, I heard a couple yells and whatnot. But lately, I think they're starting to move into deeper woods where people are not going to be bothering them.
Right.
Now that a lot of people will be in the woods here.
Yeah, I know. Here in Virginia, Bo comes in on the 1st this Saturday. So yeah. I know the bear hunters. They've been in the woods, because it's not bear season, but it's free, training days for their dog, letting their dogs run and everything. I'm not sure exactly how long this run going into it. It must end this week, or it might have already ended, since bow season starts Saturday. I'm trying to think. There was something else I can get into. Well, yeah, like you said, there's a possibility you believe they may be running deeper in the woods. Well, if that's the case, I hope that's true, because where I'm at, I mean, I don't know how much further you could really go into the woods where I'll be at. I mean, let's just say Virginia's here, I'll be here, and West Virginia's right up against it. So I'm going to be pretty much on the line where I'm at. So that's as much as I'm saying as far as location goes. I might have, that might have been said too much, but some people could assume where it's going to be. But I don't mind sharing it with you guys off air, but not publicly, right? Like we are now.
You were talking about Craig Corbin a minute ago. I want to say something. I didn't say anything online, but he made that post. I want to say kudos to Craig, because Greg made a post about those Boy Scouts and those people trying to prank them with the Bigfoot.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that's really awesome. And he got that information and could post it so nobody would get the wrong evidence and
oh, yeah,
try to present that wasn't right. So I really appreciate, to me, I appreciate him doing that. That's really a great thing for him to do.
Right. Yeah, that was, this, I try to remember. Could you recap on exactly what that was saying? I did read that, and I remember what it said, but think about it right now.
I don't remember where it was, but evidently there was a Boy Scout camping, and some people went up there were trying to scare them, doing wood knocks or yells, and putting down fake footprints and stuff like that, trying to mess with them. And I wish I could. I could probably look it back up. I just don't remember where exactly it was. But however he found out about it, it's great that he let everybody know, for that reason, that it wasn't real.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I can tell you. Let me look it up right now. I know he posted in the main E.C.B.R.O group. I'll actually read it. Here it is, right here. I believe this is it right here. Okay. Here it is. Heads up to anyone doing research in the area near Bedford, Virginia, especially peaks of otter. I heard a guy telling a story about hoax and Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts camping there. He mentioned using fake footprints and doing calls to mess with the kids. This would have been sometime between September 14th and September 24th. He and two of his friends were engaged in the activity and said they played their little games for 5 days. It says, please inspect and closely analyze any evidence collected in that area during that time period to be sure your findings are credible. Yeah. So that's what that one was about. And with what he's mentioning there, I mean, I believe that should go towards all evidence, regardless of where evidence may be found. Because even myself, I have to question what I find too before I present it. I mean, there is some stuff I do present, which I know a lot of it is questionable to a certain extent. Because some of the the pictures I post, especially when it comes to tracks, a lot of track details are not really picked up in photos. So sometimes I gotten to the point where if I see impressions, I'm not going to share photos like that no more unless there's the details. Like some of the details that I get out of my plasters, unless it shows that, I'm not going to do just impression photos unless it could be seen. But yeah, I think we all got to definitely be careful with that. Let me go back to the live chat because there was people.
I was sorry about that earlier. My phone died.
Oh, that's all good. Let's see. There we go. I'm on my phone through the live chat. There we go. Yeah. Robin Shield, it peaks a lot of, yeah. Like, huh. Yeah, Woodburger said, like crop circles, people hoax Bigfoot. Yep.
As sad as it is, that's, and, many people believe that the Patterson-Gimlin film was the greatest hoax of all time, guys. I've heard a lot of people comment on that lately.
Yeah.
That, I put the picture of me and Bob on Facebook, and somebody commented on it and said the greatest hoaxer to ever live. And,
wow.
yeah, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I think if they knew the whole backstory, I think they would think a little different if they knew that whole backstory and saw the whole, like what M.K. Davis did and showed the whole thing. Because all you're seeing is a little portion there of Patty walking. They're not showing from the day before or what was going on there that whole time.
Yeah. Or they've never heard the story that Bob tells after that film was made, where they went and found the footprints, they casted them, and even went and found where it'd sit down and watched them from up on the ridge.
Wow.
Now, well, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, even Dr. Jeff Meldrum, back then, he was present at that location and analyzed the tracks for himself, though. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, and he did not find anything indicating any hoaxing on those tracks. As far as the tracks, I know he can speak for the tracks, but I know he can't speak towards the footage and everything. But the tracks, yeah, that's what I recall, that he found them to be authentic, not hoaxed. So I know there's going to be all kinds of accusations when it comes to that, because I don't see how people have the right, consciously to say that was a hoax. For one thing, they were not there. Two, no one officially came forward. Well, they tried, but the thing is, they have no evidence to support what they're claiming. Because there's no suit that's ever been turned up. If that guy who claims that came forward and said he was a guy in a suit, well, where's the suit? Okay, so then you got excuses following that. So I mean, it's like this guy does not want them to, maybe he had a falling out with them back then. There's a lot of hidden details that we don't know about. Why would he be saying he was a guy in a suit? There's no proof of that. It's just accusation.
The controversy, Daniel, is that was 2 years prior to Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston came out. And
right.
if anybody's ever watched that movie, that was top of the line special effects back then.
That's the best,
in Hollywood. And they were real rigid. Hell, their mouths didn't even move, let alone move their heads back and forth, just like Patty did. So, and they've proven that the thing was well over 7 foot tall.
Mm-hmm. Bill Munns proved it was 7'6", and M.K. Davis proved it was over 7 foot because there was another guy that walked the exact same path she did. He was 6'4", and she was taller than him. So there was no way it was a guy in a suit.
No, and you can get into how it would be hoaxed with a suit. And in order to do it, it would take a very tall person with an apparatus, some kind of prosthetic chest piece to go on top of their shoulders to make them another 1.5 feet taller. I mean, it's just not possible. There would have had to been 2 people in that suit to be a puppeteers for it. So, not 2 cowboys.
Speak up, Chewy. We can't hear you.
Chew, you don't have no audio. I tell you what, jump off of here and come right back in. It might work. A lot of times you have to do that if it don't work the first time.
Hey, guys, I've got to do some prepping myself and everything, so I'm gonna have to go off here. But I want to make one real big announcement. The bracelet I was showing off earlier. This is trustforlife.org. Donate your organs, fellas. Except you, Shaky. Nobody wants that shit.
I'm not a donor anyway.
He feels the love.
Come on with me.
I'll talk to you guys in a few days.
Congratulations.
All right, sounds good, Michael. Yeah, thank you very much, man.
Thanks.
All right. All right. Well, Chew will be back on. Hopefully, it'll work this time around. Because that's.
Everybody loves me.
Yeah, I know Chew has some stuff to say too. All right. All right. We see that you're. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we got you.
Good. All right, good. All right, yeah, Mike jumped off when I got off.
Yeah, he had to run and take care of a couple things. So.
He had to take care of that V. It was in his forehead.
Oh man.
Shaky didn't want me on here like that because I'm going to bust his ass right here, right live.
Man. So how you been?
I went to some lady called me and I met her at Hagerstown at the mall a couple weeks ago, and she said she's been having some things going on her property, and she's right off 81, right on the river, right there at Potomac River, and on the Maryland side. And I won't disclose anything, but I couldn't find anything, and then I found some branches that were broke up pretty high, but that don't mean anything. And she called me again and told me they're still around. So I've had some other talk to some other people, and it seems like around the Potomac River area on the inside in West Virginia, down towards Shepherdstown, and like Fort Frederick, which is right outside of Hancock, going down on 70 in Maryland. They must have been moving through, or they're moving through right now, and some of them are just hanging around. So it might be more than one clan, because I don't think they travel that far. But I wanted to get up there today, but we had a little situation last night. I wasn't able to get out there this morning. And I want to get back up there. She said I can come out at any time. But the main thing is, if I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to need to do it and camp out and let her know where I'm at. Just camp out on the property.
Right.
Because I don't think, during the daytime, especially when the sun's up, they're not going to be out roaming around or making noise. So, and there's a lot of woods right before you get to the river down there. I did take some pictures of the area. Huh?
The question I was going to ask you, how's the wooded area? How's it, the terrain and everything? So
there's plenty of water, plenty of animals. So, I mean, they could go around there. You don't know how many people actually are having activity in that area because people are afraid to talk. And the more this comes out, the more we get this out, they're going to call, they're going to talk to you. Because I get a lot of emails and calls, but people are afraid to let you know anything.
Right.
But, I mean, it's not like you're going to go in there like pest control and exterminate the area and get rid of them. They're going to be around. They've been in there for, hundreds and hundreds of years, and we're building on top of their land, and we're intruding. So they might have been, there's probably generations of them that have roamed that same trail, maybe coming out of Catoctin Mountains or the Appalachian Trail, or, or just along the Potomac River, wherever, the Shenandoah River, that whole area there, because there's a lot of escape routes, but they're building up so much now in certain areas, especially inside of West Virginia, that, I mean, there's nowhere for them to go. They got to go somewhere.
Right.
The more we develop the land, the more sightings are going to be, and the more people. Then I had a contractor call me, and I don't want to give the location out, but I went down there, and it's all gravel. He had 2 security guards within a week and a half that actually quit, nighttime security guards. There's a lot of heavy equipment there, and they put up a lot of houses, and they've paved a lot. So there's not a lot of hiding. But at nighttime, they can sneak around. But the one security guard that I went the first time for the report, he had seen 2 figures moving between the heavy equipment, and he went out there, but he couldn't find nothing. But when he went out to the area, to the equipment, these things must have been 8-9 foot tall, because when he was standing by the equipment, he couldn't write. And he actually left. And then I went there to take a report they had another night watchman come in, and within a week he was gone. So, but I couldn't find anything because the ground, I mean, they're developing it, and everything's, you know, graveled and paved now, and there's houses up. But the thing is, they're taking the wood line out, they're building back, and they're taking more woods out. So if they're area, which there probably is because there's 2 other sightings close by, they're going to stay back in the woods. They're not going to come out at night to begin. I mean, during the day to begin with. And it's hard to get any footprints. You know, the ground is so hard anyway because of the lack of rain. Now maybe if it rains a couple days and I get back up that way, I might be able to find something.
Might get lucky this time around. Yeah. Now this area right here, I doubt it because it's a construction site and everything, and they wouldn't allow you to stick a camera up, would they? You would have to get special permission for that, though.
I did tell Miss L, I ain't gonna say her name.
Yeah.
She's scared shitless. But the thing is, if you can put up trail cam. I got them on my property. You can put up trail cameras, but you have to trap the trail cameras with other trail cameras in different places. Because if it's true that they can see the infrared or they can sense the camera, they see the camera because it's something that's different in the area and they know the area like the back of their hand. And you have to set it up. You have to hide shit. You have to set up cameras on top of cameras on top of cameras. That's the way it's got to be done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you want to do? For me, to be honest with you, just being around it and getting the experience is one thing. It would be, I don't want to say like hitting the lottery to get them on camera because I've had cameras up on my property for 3 years. Shaky, there hasn't been really anything going on, and we're right on 2 rivers there, right where the Cape and meets the Potomac. And I haven't heard anything. A couple wood knocks in February, but I ain't heard anything. And whenever I go up there, the windows are open. You know, I'll go sit out in the backyard at night, and I'm up until 2, 3 in the morning. Take the dog for a walk and all, and it's just as quiet as can be because the town goes to bed at 8 o'clock at night. But you'll hear if there's something going on, you'll hear it. And I haven't heard really anything, right? So obviously, and he's about 5 or 6 miles up the side and up on the mountain from me. So they'll run that way. They'll come right down the railroad tracks and the river from up by him and come down to where the 2 rivers meet. They'll travel that path, but there's nothing going on. And I can't explain it because a lot of times you'll have activity in an area where there's a lot of population, like I've been getting. It's not, you know, real secluded. And if you go up to Shakey's, it's pretty secluded up there.
Yeah.
So big difference.
Yeah, just from what Shaky shared, you know, before, it seems like they pretty much rotate, or not really rotate, but it's like they have, like, well, it's like they rotate or they travel in a circle around Shaky's home. I mean, you know, it's like they, I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Shaky, but that's kind of like what I kind of picked up from everything you've gathered. It's like they use your backyard pretty much like as like a cross, you know, they go back and forth. And
well, he has a
just from that one.
He has a ravine at the bottom there, so if they're traveling to the other side of the mountain.
I'm in a valley, and the valley goes down to the river and comes up through here, and then and it's a stream that runs along, but it takes you up to over 100 and some acres of public land, you know, public forest. Or I guess probably thousands of acres. It's a big public forest, but you know, it's probably like it's just it's a highway for them.
Yeah. Yeah, Shaky, I just thought about that. I might talk to you about it when we're off air, but because where I'm gonna be this weekend, I think you may be very close to it. I was gonna say if you're welcome to come down and check it out with me. But
I might have to pick them up.
Oh, okay. Because see, from where I live, right here to get to where I'm going, it's over an hour and a half. So I mean, I figured that might be close. You know, it might be the middle point 81? Between. You go up 81 a little ways. I don't want to give off too much information because people, you know, that might be listening might know
they're not going to find it. It's too much area down there, Dan. I mean, just like when I went down there, I've been down that way a lot. And when I went down there, I've never been on Cole Road. I've never been around there where Fred was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even know you could camp down there. I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, shoot, I was up there a few weeks ago with my father, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, we did some scouting around. Dad brought his 22, but he didn't see no squirrels. But yeah, we hiked around and explored a little bit. Now, Dad left. Dad ended up leaving a little bit before I did. I mean, but when I was leaving, I did see a bear. It's funny when I saw that bear. He had probably, he had already crossed the road. But when I was driving down the road, I was like, "What the heck is that?" I'm looking over. I'm driving, and I stopped because the way my eye caught it, the way I first looked at it, it looked like a black cow, like a cow from a farm field, just running in the woods. And I stopped. I backed up. There was a little pull off. I pulled off. I got out, and I realized it was a bear. I grabbed my camera. I said, "Oh, cool," And I tried to get a video of it, but that didn't work out too good because he ran, but he stopped and he kind of like paced back and forth. Then he stopped. He got up on a stump, and was looking at me broadside, and I said, "Well." When he stopped and was looking at me, I made sure there was nothing else around. As far as I know, it wasn't a mama. It wasn't a mama bear, even though it was a nice sized looking bear. But yeah. But I was trying to get video footage of it. People, I know people might think I'm crazy for trying to chase after a bear, but I love my wildlife.
Well,
Hey,
you
a
know, they're like,
couple weeks ago, my dogs were going crazy, and I come outside here and I seen this possum, and I have a couple bags of trash over here. It's an hour to get to the dump, so I stockpile my trash over in the corner, and I seen this possum on top of the bag, so I come back in. I got my son. I said, "Dude, come out here with your flashlight. I can almost shoot this damn possum. I had enough of it, tearing my trash up." He comes out here and he pops the light on. It's a damn bear's head. The bear's behind the trash bags, I guess, but it's a great head. Man, she had to be about 200 pounds or better.
Wow.
And took off. And then
Mm.
last week I come out here, the dog's barking again, and it wasn't her, it was a male, and he was every bit of 400 pounds.
Wow.
Um,
That's a big bear. Yeah, that's a nice sized bear right there.
but
Yeah.
I have 3 trees on my road that are snapped off from a bear, and they complete. It looks just like someone grabbed them and snapped them. And the
Mm.
reason I know the bear did is because the trees had berries on them, or was wild cherries or whatever.
Yeah.
And so anybody that says a bear won't snap a tree off, yes, it will, because I've got video. I got pictures to it.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. You should see.
Big tree,
Yeah.
but little trees, and
Yeah. Well, see, because it's like, um, you know, during our expedition, our camping expedition, first week of September out there in my area, you know, we did some hiking along. We were hiking back. We were headed back towards camp. We were on along the road over in my area, and there was, there's a lot of fresh broken stuff you can see just from the road, and I know one broken tree structure right in particular. I know Greg questioned me about it. He said, "Whoa, what's up with this?" I said, "Oh, that's bear damage right there." I mean, and even though I didn't see the bear do it, I know for a fact it was bear night, and I showed him the type of tree and bush it was. There's a lot of them in the area, and they have these little. Forgive me for not knowing the exact type of tree or it is, but they have these little berries that look like little mini cranberries. I don't know. Maybe that might tell you guys something. And they have little leaves on. Yeah, their leaves look like they would belong to an apple tree, but the little berries,
yep.
they're like, yep, same thing. Yep, the bears are tearing them up. I mean, the bears love them, and if they're not after blackberry bushes, they're after them. And there's a lot of them snapped and damaged in my area because of that. You know,
all my
so
blackberry bushes dried up about a month and a half ago.
come on over. We got a whole line of them we had planted in the backyard. I don't know. They might be gone. I don't know. I haven't looked at them, but you know. But yeah, I've seen areas where the black bears have pretty much plowed down sections of the blackberry bushes out in the national forest around here, and yeah, they've been tearing up some berries here. Yeah, and not to mention the rotten logs have been tearing up, uprooting trees, all that kind of stuff that they like to do. Their normal common behavior. But oh, excuse me. But yeah, I'm pretty much looking forward to getting out there this weekend. Like I said, I'm headed out tomorrow. But oh yeah, I need to show you guys something. I uploaded it and I tried them out. I'll have to hopefully after this weekend I'll upload to show you guys some footage from my new DVR sunglasses.
I saw you post that. Cool. Yeah, I didn't see the footage, but now they work.
Yeah, they actually work pretty good. I played around in the house here with them earlier, and check this out. Right now I got a SD card on the bottom of it, but without the SD card, it does have up to 2 gigabytes of internal memory of its own. But like I said, I got like 8 gigabyte micro SD card in there. You got you got an on button. This here for your mode. This is your mode button. You can do videos or pictures with them. As far as to take snapshots, I'm not sure exactly how to do that. I got to read the little manual that came with it. But I got 2 of these. This is the one I charged up. I haven't charged the other one up yet, but I will be playing around with these this weekend. So
how much they run?
These ones here, I bought these brand new off of eBay for $18.
Oh wow,
$18.
Yeah. So
probably gonna electrocute your ears or something.
No, they're actually pretty good. There's no metal on them except for what's built inside the little thing here because it's got the USB.
Oh,
yeah, I was surprised they work pretty good playing around here at the house, but
they made in China.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll come pick Shaky up and slam them on top of them.
But yeah, I had to get these, just to try them out, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'll use them all the time, but you never know. They might come in handy. I might be out in the woods and I might have a real good, clear sighting, and I won't have time to pull my camera out. Hopefully, I'll have my hopefully we'll be on, and I might capture something.
You might get pulled over.
Pulled over? Why you say that?
You got them on the cam.
Why would I get?
That's the kind of police act. But they probably cost like $1,500 a piece.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Glasses. Yeah. $18. What a bargain.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, for the price, I could go wrong. I said, what the heck?
Yeah. No, if you lose them or if you trip on them and stomp them or something, what the hell? $18.
Well, I think they're cool. I think they're cool looking sunglasses. I mean.
Yeah, sunglasses are $18 to start with. Decent pair.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of like, hold on, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger here, huh? I mean,
like cool Lord Yeti, cool Yeti.
Hey, you look like Buck Nye.
Oh,
you look like Buckwheat.
Yeah, but he wears. I don't have my hat on. My hat's. I don't know. It's out my blazer, but yeah. So. I can't really see too good with what I look like anyway. I got to put my glasses back on, so I'm blind right now.
Get them birds out of your beard.
What's that?
Get them birds out of your beard.
Yeah, I got one just laid eggs over here. Tweety's over here.
Shaky's gonna be looking around.
Girl sending him messages. They said talking about how sexy beards are.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point I might not shave it now.
Oh boy. I've trimmed up my beards.
My hair, you can't see my hair, but it's getting real long. It's real curly in the back. If I stand my hair up, it's over 7 inches tall on top, but it's all pushed back right now. So, but yeah, I might go to. I used to wear my hair like Chew, have none. I used to keep my head shaved. Oh yeah.
Trim this up. I gotta look young. Yeah. I'm getting old.
I used to shave my head.
Now, Chew, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
Today is my birthday.
Huh?
So I'm 1 year older than I was yesterday.
I'm gonna rat him out.
48.
48. Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed it.
No, because I act like I'm 21. That's what saves me from all the operations and shit. My body's beat up so bad from sports all these years. So it's an 80-year-old body and a 21-year-old mind makes me 48,
When the hell did they start? When did they start letting handball be a sport?
handball. How'd you play pocket pool? I'm waiting one day one of them ashes fall on his beard when he's puffing on that stogie. And them ashes fall on his beard. And take him another 40 years to grow it back. There he is. There he goes. That's, there he goes. The Freeman footage following Shaky. There he goes. I'm gonna get filmed of him going through the woods. I'm gonna put some overalls on him, give him a banjo. He's like, he's got one. Where's the banjo? He'll be playing the banjo.
Oh Lord.
That's what he's gonna start playing the harmonica.
Start driving faster. I hear banjos.
Let me tell you something. I'm telling you right now, I've had some old people I've talked to up there. And I don't want to say what, because they've been around, you know, they live up there and they've probably been around them all their lives, you know. They know what they are. They just don't want to say nothing to anybody. But the one guy plays guitar on his porch and it backs to the woods and plays a harmonica. And he said when he does that at night, he hears all kinds of shit rustling around in the brush right at the tree line. And I know exactly what it is, and he does too. He just didn't want to tell me. And I guarantee it's from the music. Playing a soft music or playing something like that. Like a banjo, harmonica, just a guitar, strum a guitar. Shaky, he's gonna go pull out the skin flute and start playing it.
Hey, I've been missing some very interesting conversations here on the live chat.
I bet.
Yeah.
I'll start off from Woolly Booger. Woolly Booger, Woolly Booger says, he said, "Oh, it's Nincompoop. That's who it is. I thought I recognized the picture, but yeah, it's Nincompoop under another name." Yeah, which his name is Jeff too. He said, "I deleted my Nincompoop channel." He goes on to say, "Robert Dawson cried to YouTube and they paddled my ass." He said that. I'm reading word for word, so I'm not calling nobody's names for the record, but I'm reading it word for word as they have it.
Blame for that one.
What's that?
You'll get blamed for it, trust me.
Yeah. Well, he says that meat bag. Hope he sets his bed on fire. Wow. Then Dave Stump. He says howdy. Nincompoop says, "Hey Dave." Then he goes on to say, Nincompoop's asking, he said, "Why are you hating on Ryan?" I don't know where that came from because I didn't see no one that said anything but Ryan.
They probably see his post.
What?
He probably sees his post. Ryan will post something, and then Dave will make a comment on it, or somebody will make a comment on it. It's typical stuff.
I got you. Then he says, then Dave says Robert Dawson is a baby. Nincompoop said, "Yep." Then David said, "Oh, you mean Ryan Reedon?" Nincompoop said, "Yep." Dave said, "Oh, he lies." And Nincompoop said, and lets you say so. Whatever. All right. I'm trying to make sense of all this. Robert.
Look.
Then something about Robert is scared of his own shadow. Dave said, "Yes, he is." And he says, "I quit watching his stuff." And Nincompoop said, "It's a waste of precious time for sure." And then Dave said, "I can't believe there are only 4 people on here." And then he also said, "I really thought there would be more." He said, and then Nincompoop said, "Oh, they trickle in." He said, "Oh, okay."
So, matriculate.
Yeah. So, yeah. For anyone new that's watching that don't normally watch, just to let you know, we like to have fun on here. So.
Well, this is the time of the year that I think that we're going to get get a lot of activity and some emails and phone calls, because this is and you know what, I enjoy going out in the fall and the winter more than I do in the summer, It's just sometimes that they travel through the areas around here and they're out of here. You know, they must go somewhere. They must go near into the mountains where there's caves and stuff, because you don't see them down in the low-lying areas down by the river for some reason. You don't hear a lot of noise. So
well, see,
I'm assuming.
I'm glad. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say something regardless of what you're
Go ahead.
saying. It's kind of related to that,
Go
but
ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead. I
Oh,
already forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that because it just made me think of something of what you were saying. Because now you said you noticed that fall is the most active time of year for you, right?
Yeah, well, that's when I enjoy going out. I don't like going out in the heat like that, out in the woods.
Right.
And it's harder for me to get around. I got to wear this leg brace. Damn thing goes all the way up and down my leg, and it's harder to get around, you know, with that thing on. And that's on my good knee. See, now I got the bad knee. And then I got to take a dog everywhere with me now. A poor dog. Everywhere I go, this dog's got to go. So when I go, like I went and looked at the area right out here in Essex. Some lady called me, and I went and took a walk back through there, and the dog was with me. It's like 90 degrees. The dog's having a stroke. So I walked back through the woods and around this area, and it actually, I went back behind her house and back down, and there's like a ravine back there, and it was a dried up mud pit. I'll put pictures up. And then not too far away was 695. And you can when you're riding by, you can actually look down, and I seen where, you know, when I rode by there several times since then. That was back in July. I rode by there and I looked down in that area. Now I haven't got any more messages or calls from this lady, so I don't know what it was. She said it happened a couple nights in a row, and some weird noises and some screams and stuff. But the area was prime area. If it wasn't stuck right there where there's a highway on one side. Huh?
That's Essex. That ain't no Sasquatch. That's somebody getting murdered.
No, well, you know, the train there, and it runs, you know, all the way out. But there's been a lot of reports in the Aberdeen Proving Grounds area, and then along the Susquehanna River up into Pennsylvania. It comes right down through Cecil County, and also, you know, you never know. Gunpowder River. There's all kinds of reports around here, and people are going to keep quiet. People aren't going to. I'm the only Fruit Loop that's been doing this kind of stuff for 30 some years, and people have been saying I've been nuts. All my friends know. You know, we used to go camping, and I'd be out doing that kind of shit, looking for stuff. But the older you get, the more you understand what you need to look for and what you gotta do. You know, you can't. We used to go camping and get all drunk, and I'd be wandering through the woods in the middle of the night, whooping and making noise and stuff. That don't work. Lucky I didn't get abducted or something. When you get older, though, you know what to look for.
Yeah. Let's see. Like, you know, my, you know, area. I've always, I've gone out and camp research. You know, all throughout the year. You know, hot weather or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found that the most active times of the year are, early spring where the temperatures are still cool but comfortable, and fall. You know, it does seem like they move around a little bit more.
I'm gonna tell you another thing, because in the fall, once the leaves start falling, it's very visible. You can see through the thicket, and also less people go out in the wintertime. But if you're driving along, you can see up and down the hills very easy, because there's no leaf litter or no brush. Everything's falling off the trees. So it's good visibility. So they obviously know not to wander around too close to any roads or anything, because you're going to be sighted. And but in the wintertime, really, you know, I used to go out because I love it like that. And but the thing is, it's you can see better, but they could see you better, so they can duck, run, whatever they got to do to stay away from you, like any animal.
I don't go in the woods until fall either. I'll go in the woods in about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll be in there all winter through because I hunt. And you know, I don't like snakes. And up here we got the copperheads and we got rattlesnakes, and so I don't go in the woods in the summer. I don't go trucking through no woods in the summer. I don't play that with snakes too well. So I'm like you. Once fall gets here and I start hunting, I'm in the woods all the way through until January, February.
Oh, see, I was going to say something. Oh, no, there is something I want to ask you too. Now you get calls and reports and stuff. Do you, I guess, advertise yourself, or you have a way to?
Do I catalog them and stuff?
Yeah.
No. You know what? I have emails back from the mid '90s that I've saved, and I was telling one person, I won't say who she is, about it was a professor. I used to do collection work, and one of our clients was together dating down in Howard County, which is down by Columbia. But that's on the 70 Route 32 going into where the Sykesville Monster was and all back in the 70s.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, her brother was a professor at a college up in upstate New York, and he had a cabin up there. And I talked to him for long periods of time. This was after I didn't meet him, and then after he had the sighting, I met him. He was coming up 70, right around 32, because his sister lived right over there. That's where she lived down there. And him and his wife were in the car, and they were coming. It was evening, across the road and from, and he knew exactly what it was. And he don't believe in them, but now he knew exactly what it was. And he sent me a couple emails, and they're and the emails were from the school, some EDU from the college that he was a professor at. So I talked to him over the course of 3 or 4 months. I went down there and looked. Me and my daughter and one of my ex-girlfriends went down there and looked around, but it ran across the highway. I wasn't gonna go running across the highway looking, but I looked in the backside.
Yeah.
But I stayed in touch with him, and he said, "Look, I started telling him about things and go here and listen to these noises and stuff." And he started telling me about all the activity that he had around his cabin in upstate New York. And they had the cabin for 20 some years, and he didn't know. He just thought it was part of whatever was out there. He didn't know what it was, you know?
Hmm.
And then when he started listening to some of the recordings that I turned him on to and some of the other stuff and told him what to look for, he started saying, "Well, yeah, I remember that and all." And now, and I haven't talked. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I haven't communicated with the man. He's not working there anymore. I know that because the email's not there. It's no good.
Mhm.
But this was going on for a long time, and just I told him straight up. I said, "You can be anybody you want to be, and you can believe what you want to believe." I said, "But these things are real and they're out there." I said, "And this is what you need to look for." And during the course of the time that I was talking to him, he started coming around more so. He went from on the ground up on the fence and then was hanging over the fence because
Yeah.
it's like most people. I need to see it. I need to see it to believe it because your mind is trained over the years that these things aren't real. Don't believe there's nothing out there. You're imagining things. It was a bear or whatever. And you know, when people stop listening, just like the media corrupts everything, start learning and seeing stuff. You don't have to see one really. You just experience some things and see some things like that. And he went
Right.
from under the fence to on top of it, falling over. So, and he's a professor, so obviously he's still going up to his cabin if he's still alive. And he's probably sitting there saying, I never believed in that until I got to talking to Mike and he told me what to look for. But I wish he would contact. I wish I knew how to get in touch with him. And
Yeah.
that's been the early '90s, late '90s, I think. Yeah, '99 or something. I got the emails upstairs, but that was one of the most
Yeah.
interesting ones because he told me a lot of stuff and a lot of things that happened at his school, and they weren't allowed to talk about a lot of stuff. Being a professor,
Yeah.
come on, you lose your job, and this was before all this crap came out the last 5 years or so. But that didn't make any sense to me. Somebody is
Right.
very educated, but he was out in the wild. He would go out to the cabin for a week or two during his vacation, and he'd go up there during the weekends. So he's not stuck in the city or the suburbs. You're not. What are you going to see? I got people telling me. Like I told you that before. I got friends. What do? They get up in the morning. They go to work. They go to the store. They go to the bar. You're not going to see Bigfoot sitting in a bar. You're not going to see him
Yeah.
at the grocery store. You got to get out and experience things. And even I
Right.
don't get out as much as I want to or as much as I used to when I was younger. But the fact is, you retain all that knowledge so that when I do go out now, I know exactly what to look for. I'm not wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah.
You know what you want to do, and you want to sit still and be quiet and just listen to things. like I told you when me and my buddy Chucky and Fred went up on that mountain, and I'm trying to stop and sit down, stop walking so fast, because if there's
Right.
anything around, they're just going to duck down. We're going to miss them. I just wanted to
Right.
sit down and listen. Right, right, and that's what you have to do when you're camping. Just be quiet. Sit out there and listen to what's going on around you. That's
Yeah, I
when
mean, it's something I can understand because when you're camping, you're enjoying, you got good fellowship. People might, I know this is not related. You were talking about walking and while you're going through the woods, but it's the
right.
same thing. Like at nighttime, it's the best time. I love to be at the camps because a lot of people like to go out and do night investigations. I do too, but at the same time, why not enjoy it and relax? I mean, relax and experience it while you're relaxing because like sitting around the campfire. And the areas I camp at, because I chose the camp area that we had for the specific reason. First of all, that time of year, because almost every September and that time of year, especially if the temperatures are comfortable, which we did have great comfortable temperatures. That time of year, that location, and everything that I've experienced, others has experienced, and everything that I know that and like I said, everything that I know that happens right there. And I'm just glad, the activity that we had, it wasn't, it wasn't a lot of it. It wasn't extremely mind blown like I've had in the past, but it was enough to say, hey, they were still there, and that they made themselves known more or less because what started it all. And I'm glad my father was there camping with us. They just experienced, the couple things he did. Um, and I've spoke on this before, but you know, he had just gone in his tent. He went in his tent. He was probably in there for about maybe roughly 10 minutes. I mean, we're, doing what we do every night. We were there sitting around the campfire, talking, normal tone conversation. As the night got later, here I am. I get to myself. I'm putting myself in. I'm programming myself to get in my zone. Okay, I gotta start listening and listening along. I could kind of listen in on everything over top of everybody. Of course, when I hear stuff, I gotta stop everybody. But at one point, I didn't have to stop everybody because everybody was already quiet at this one particular time. It was calm, not no sound. We heard maybe a distant the distant sound of the bugs, frogs chirping in the distance, but it was so quiet, so calm. And of course, like I said, Dad was trying to rest. Dad had just laid down. But from out of nowhere, just right across the road, in the woods across the road, right where everything happens, where we've had encounters and other experiences, sounded like somebody took a Louisville slugger and swung it full force as hard as they could up against a hard tree. Probably that probably came from about 20, 30 yards just inside the tree line. And I know I stood up. Dad came right out of his tent. And I was so excited. I said, "You heard that, didn't you?" I was like, "I'm glad he got to hear that." I said, "See, everything I tell you, I deal with, I hear. You got to have a little tiny taste of it. So I was glad he got to experience that with me, just that one time. But, and then he heard other stuff. We heard owls, we heard, other known things, but we were hearing other vocalizations that I get to hear, that others get to hear. And of course, there was a few that Dad wasn't able to identify. I said, "I told you, Dad." So we had a good time. But like I said, it was that time of year, in that place, and that's why I chose it. You know, and I told Greg, I told everybody that was there at camp. I said, I want you guys to start listening. When you hear owls, every time it almost never fails. If you start hearing owls, especially when they start communicating, especially if they're close, listen what follows the owls. Listen what comes after the owl. It's when everything starts happening. We start hearing other vocalizations, the tree knocks, et cetera, et cetera. We've actually heard some whoops, but they weren't that close. They came further up across from camp, over up on a higher ridge. But we were hearing all that all around the camp. We heard movement around the camp. We can't say for sure what it was, but all this activity started taking place after the owls. But we had 2 nights of that activity. Most of the other nights were very, very dull. But I mean, I'm glad at least something good happened, you know, then. But
Who's that?
huh?
Who's that? Sam?
What was that, Mr. Fee?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Mr.
What is it,
Mr.
cat?
Fee. No, he's a pug.
It's a what?
It's a black pug named Mr. Fee.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see. I just saw with black fur. That's all I saw.
Shaggy's
I didn't
running
know.
in the house to get the Nutella. Peanut butter.
I don't eat that crap.
Let me tell you something. You know, a lot of these people, you got 20% of these people that put all this crap on their sites now. You know, I'm in all these different groups, been in for a long time, and I really don't post much on there. Every once in a while, I'll read through some posts. And some of the people in there that, you know, I'd like to follow more often because they do have some good stuff. And everybody can't be wrong. When you have a lot of people saying, look, when you're out there, you know, stop making noise and just sit around the fire and listen.
Right.
Something over the course of time that makes more sense because they're curious. You're not going to walk into the woods and find one.
Right.
You know, you're not going to ride down the road and see one. If you sit there and they're around, they're very curious. They're going to come and see what's going on, check it out, you know. And
Well, just like the experience you and Fred and them have, right? You guys are basically doing the same thing.
we were there talking for probably good because his brother was there.
Yeah.
And he
Jeff.
left around dark, and probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. So probably about 2 hours. We were just sitting around the campfire talking, real light.
Yeah.
It was windy, so we had the tarps up,
so
the fire didn't blow out. You know, so we had the tarps up on the backside. That's what really screwed everything up. It was blocking everything off. You couldn't see. We had them up and, you know, 8 foot up, tied from tree to tree to block the wind.
Yeah.
And if they weren't up, maybe, but no, it was too dark. You can't, you know, human eye you can't see that far in the dark. And then you're by a campfire, so you're blind anyway. And I'm blind to begin with. That's 3 strikes on me there. But I mean, just everything that happened from start to finish in about 8 seconds was crazy. I mean, sitting here, I had the audio recorder in my pocket. There was no way I could have pulled it out and started it. You know, you're almost in shock. It's like, wow. And you're listening and it's like, oh, Fred had a damn night vision camera down there right by his foot. He didn't even pick it up. We had no time to pick it up. All this happened within like 8 seconds. By the time it was over, it was like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Because you're stunned. You're trying to figure out what's going on. You're not thinking about pulling a recorder out of my pocket to get this on audio.
Yeah.
I would have been fumbling around in the dark trying to hit start button, you know, record. But things like that, I mean, like the one picture, me and the guy Phil who disappeared. Shaky knows about this guy. Well, he was taking me to this one site up here, and he said it was a bedding area. It was an old house foundation. It was on right off the creek, but it was up on top of the hill. It was like a look. You could see everything from up here. You could see the roads crossing and the river, the creek that ran through and everything. And I heard that it sounded like an exotic bird call. You ever hear a crested woodpecker, redheaded woodpecker?
Oh, yeah.
This was a little bit different than that. It sounds like something you'd see on one of these survival shows where they're out in the Brazilian jungle or something. And it just struck me. It was loud. It came from up on top in the bushes, like, you know, 400 feet away. And then behind me, I hear this exotic bird call, the same sounds, but it was lighter. It wasn't as deep, you know. And I turned around and Phil was standing back there and he said, there they are. And then it came again louder up top, like it was trying to draw my attention away from me because I was 10 feet away. Well, when I turned to look up on top of the hill again, out of the corner of my eye, I seen that thing move in the bushes. It went from the lower bushes to the taller bushes right beside me, not too far. Yeah, maybe 15, 20 feet away. I had the camera hanging around my neck. First thing I did was turned around as fast as I could. I picked the camera up and started. I didn't focus. I didn't zoom in. I just started snapping pictures. Now, if I'd have zoomed in, it would have been a little bit better. Well, when we had these pictures sent off, Phil had them sent to somebody in Tennessee, and they sent them up to Chicago to supposedly some forensic lab. Now, why would you do that? Why? And
Right.
nothing impaired. I mean, it's just pictures.
Yeah.
But because he thought there was something. Now, this man knew some people. That's why he disappeared. He literally disappeared. He's dead. He's dead. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it ain't no joke.
Wow.
And he told me that they were listening to him. They were bugging. He couldn't talk to me on the phone. We had to meet at like McDonald's or certain areas, certain places. He had codes for shit. I'm serious. And I was like, this guy's nuts. He wasn't nuts. He had a clearance for the government. He worked, and he did some research down in North Carolina where he was from, and in Tennessee, and he got pulled up, and they told him they were going to pull his clearance, and they were, you know, bugging his phones and shit and watching his Facebook accounts. Well, I only had like 18 people on his Facebook account. It was crazy. And I didn't, I thought, this guy's nuts. I'm thinking he's nuts, but he wasn't. And no longer than, it was about maybe 2 months after he told me that he had to stop going out. He couldn't go out no more. They were following him. And I'm thinking, what the hell are you talking about? So I kept going up to the area. I was actually going up there by myself. He disappeared, and then they found nothing. Nobody knew where he was at, just gone. And then I just happened to look about 2 months ago. I took screenshots for Shaky. I went on his Facebook page, and he was dead. They were talking about how they missed him and all. Crazy. And this is like within 2 months of when he told me they were following him. Out anymore. He couldn't do no more research. He couldn't be out anywhere. Thinking, you work, you got a clearance, you work on, in a government building or down wherever he was working at the time. You have to have a clearance. Could have been Fort Meade, who knows? But yep, just nuts. And then I'm thinking, why would somebody just disappear if you're just going out and I know they're out there. I've been doing this a long time, but I'm not into it where I can go out constantly. And I'm thinking, if somebody's out casually doing something that they enjoy, and to be honest with you, I was close many times and I've never really laid my eyes on one, and I want to. But that doesn't mean something's going on when people know something and they can't disclose anything to you. He actually gave me the camera before that, and he got it back. There was some pictures or something that were, he had in the memory of the camera that he had to get out for some reason, whatever. Now I still have the camera. I should check it and see if there's anything left in there. But I was using, the SD cards at the time, so I was putting everything on the SD card.
Right.
But I had no idea. He was just very secretive about everything. But when he needed to let me know, and shit hit the fan, then he's gone. And who knows? They could have been tapping my phone. They could have been following me. Who knows?
Wow.
It's awful scary though when you look back on. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I'm just like, Fruit Loop. That's what I was thinking. Okay, Fruit Loop's dead now. Something like he owed the mafia money or was in bad gambling, but he wasn't. He was a really nice guy. He just, I don't know.
That's definitely mysterious.
Shaky serious. What you doing? Playing the banjo? I'm gonna give you the Fred Caney shuffle here.
Oh man.
So what's up with the talk about some of the circled pictures? Have they been coming out lately? Seen any lately?
Yep. I haven't been seeing any because I haven't been floating around the different forums like I used to.
Right.
I've kind of backed off a lot of I'm still share stuff in the groups and I still check stuff out, but I haven't really been paying entirely too much attention to a lot of the groups. I've been kind of trying to stay focused on what I've been doing, and working on.
That was a big thing about 5 or 6 years ago. People started circling everything, and then people were just blowing them up about it, and then stopped for a while, and then you started putting the pictures up people were posting. I was like, where are they coming from? People started putting the pictures back up with the circles around them. They were using squares, circles, red, green. You know, it was pretty funny. And I'm like, I still don't see nothing. I don't know what you're circling because I don't see Jack Diddley in these circles. You know.
Well,
like
let me get
you can't see it with the naked eye. Why are you posting?
Yeah. Well, let me get your opinion on something, both of you guys. I mean, you know, I got, there's some really nice people in the Bigfoot community, and I'm not going to mention their names because, I consider them friends, and, and I know they see the stuff I post and talk about, when it's speaking up against a lot of this stuff, but they post these pictures and, and they're like, yeah, look at this guy, look at these, look at this big guy, what are we supposed to be seeing? I mean, how I got to the point where I think it's more kind because you get along with these people and you like these people, and they're good family people. So, am I doing the right thing just by not responding and just leaving it alone? What's that?
If somebody shows me a picture or posts a picture and I can't tell what it is, I don't respond to it at all. I'd rather just not say nothing than say something to piss them off.
Right, and that's the way I've been getting. I was like, well, just let it go because I mean, they're not as far as like, especially these people, these certain individuals I do know. They're not pushing it on people. They're not. They're just sharing stuff because they love Bigfoot. Now, give or take, one of these individuals did post something where it was actually a live video he posted, and I was like, dude, it does look like there is something behind him. I mean, I was actually like, wow, but but I couldn't really say for sure because I wasn't there. You know what I mean? And then, but then it goes back to the cloaking thing. We all know how we feel about cloaking, but so, but yeah, I just feel like it's safer to just leave it alone, like what you said. Let them carry on. But
well, yeah, you know what? I don't dismiss anything anybody says, and I don't like to tear at their credibility because I don't know. I don't know, literally. And I've heard some stuff about Mike Johnson and or Matt Johnson. I'm sorry, in the project he's got out there. But, I don't know if they came. Somebody said something about they came to him in his sleep and told him to go to this area, and he moved his area, and there they were again. I have no idea, but something's up when you have stuff like that. Who knows? I've never walked through the woods and walked into a porthole and disappeared. I know that. But
right.
I'm not going to say it's not real or it's not true because we still don't know what the hell's out here in this world. We don't know what's been going on. We have no idea how much the government knows, and I'm sure they know a lot. But there's just a lot of freaky stuff out there, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
How do you explain all the dog men? I've never seen no dog man.
Well, we've had discussions about that too, and people have claim to have these sightings. This is the other thing that I think about, and I don't know, maybe this has no bearing on it, but it's just the way I look and think about things. All right, Bigfoot. All right, many of us know and believe that Bigfoot exists. However, look at all the alleged photos. Regardless, you got there's hoaxed photos, but yet there's other photos that a lot of us stand to believe that are incredible. But so you have all these alleged Bigfoot photos, but where are all the alleged dogman photos? That's something to consider. I mean, but then again, we have all these Bigfoot photos. Again, no dogman photos. And then that kind of goes back to some of the discussions that I know me and Shaky had, and how and I agree with Shaky how there's different types of Bigfoot, and we believe that people are possibly misidentifying Bigfoot. Could it be a Bigfoot that resembles kind of like the baboon, a baboon's canine,
Right.
And with this being said, I know people, I know other certain people have heard me say this before, and they twist my words around, saying that I'm saying Bigfoot's part of our known primates. I'm not saying they are part of our known primates. I'm saying I use them. I use known primates for comparison. I know a lot of us do because of their behaviors, et cetera, et cetera. But But yeah, it's just relating comparisons to what some of them might look like, along with their behaviors and what our known primates are known for doing versus what we're experiencing here in our own neck of the woods. But yeah, as far as identification wise, yeah, I believe it's a misidentification. Because the way I look at it, yeah, some people are finding weird looking tracks that they can't identify, which I believe like a lot of animals, cats, dogs, wolves, anything. I mean, I believe we all have, they could all have deformities. I mean, I could go get my daughter's little cat right now, her kitten. He's got double paws. I mean, he's got another set of paws on it, sticking out on each one. He's a cute kitten. I love that little kitten, but I mean, I know it's not a big popular thing. I know other cats have. I've seen pictures of other cats with them, but like I said, there's deformities. People don't realize, they neglect to realize that other side effects happen with other different species. So why can't a Bigfoot have an awkward shaped foot? Look at all the different various tracks that I know that were shared by Cliff Brackman, Jeff Meldrum. They all don't look the same. They're all different. It's like people. Not every person's the same. We all have different sized feet. Um, some both men and women. It, it's more common that they say women might have a longer foot versus a guy may have a wider foot or whatever, or a shorter foot, or vice versa. But there's different studies on that you could look into, which is actually very interesting. I did a comparison on human feet, male versus female. If you could actually look that study up online. It's very interesting, and what you might come across and learn about that information. It was more of a survey study, versus the size of comparisons. I looked into that, and I did a little presentation on that. That was actually based off of a lot of people finding these tracks, or and putting out these tracks. Oh, that's a female, that's a male, that's a female, because it's easy to see a narrower foot as a female. But if you look into the study of the different comparisons on the human foot, it could go either way. Because you can't identify the sex of a species by the size of their track. As far as humans go, and if people are relating Bigfoot to human, you can't do that. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Is some can make assumptions because there's no fact behind that. It's just all speculation. But people are going to continue to throw their speculation and turn as fact, which is a big error. But I don't know. It's just something to look into and consider.
Here's my thing about tracks, especially dogman tracks.
Yeah.
People show a track that's a wolf track, a dog track, canine track.
Right.
Well, that foot is not designed to be walked on bipedal. That thing is designed for walking on all fours. So how are you going to have an animal with a paw print, with like canine paw, running through the woods that's 6 to 7 foot tall? It's not designed for that. We have a long foot with toes for balance. So that right there, if you find a big canine track, that right there to me is you found a big wolf track or whatever, or somebody's big pet dog, because that track is not designed to be on bipedal. Now, then you hear people say, well, we find like what looks like a Bigfoot track, but with claws. Well, that to me is a bear track. It's a double step bear track when you find claws in it. I just don't. I don't see how the footprints they are showing can be linked to a dog man.
Right.
Or anything that walks bipedal.
Right. I've seen people. Yeah, I've seen people to post pictures of these very large canine tracks and assume or think that they are related to the so-called dogman. Well, thing is, people don't realize how big wolves get. I think there's a lot of people that get carried away and ignoring or to look into or knowing the real facts about unknown wildlife, just to assume that everything's cryptid, because there's a lot of little simple clear details that people don't know. I mean, like a lot of our known species, people hear weird noises in the woods. Okay. There's certain noises that people there, like a coyote, for example. I'll use a coyote for example. Yeah, people are used, they know their common howls and their little, yipper bark, their barks, the way they bark and howl. Well, there's other sounds that coyotes make that people aren't familiar with that they don't hear on a normal basis. Same thing. Owls. Owls are a good example because I know in my main research area we have barred owls. Barred owls are very common there. I mean, and you can hear them. Sometimes they sound like a howl, but you got to listen. Yeah, yeah, we get some of them, and you'll get the whoo,
I
and
got a
then they also have what's that?
northern saltweed owl that it was back again. Usually, and you know what? I've only heard it in September, last 3 Septembers. I heard it last week when I was at the house, and it sounded like it was sitting on my windowsill. It scared the crap out of me again. This is like 2:30 in the morning. But it was in the tree, and I had a tree line behind me, and then I got another little piece of field, and then I got tree lines back there in bushes. But it was in the tree, but it was so loud. I looked it up when I first heard it 3 years ago. It's a northern saltweed owl, and they're not their range. It doesn't say the range is West Virginia, but anything's possible. But that's the sound that they had for that. I went on there and checked out the different owl sounds that I didn't know, and that's what it was.
Yeah,
But it sounded really crazy.
yeah. Have you ever studied the well, you got an eastern and western screech owl? That's a lot of people don't understand about a screech owl. They hear the name screech owl. Screech owl, they're just little owls, and they don't screech at all. They're very soft tone. Um, you know, exactly. Yeah, they're very soft like that, and people don't realize. Yeah, they make other noises too. They make like a. I can't. I'm not gonna try to imitate it. I'll sound stupid, but yeah, they have like a little like humming noise. And just like a bard, back to a bard owl. One of the other sounds they have, it sounds like a stuttering bark. It almost sounds like they're barking, but sometimes yeah, they could be deep too. Yeah, so yeah, so man, you should see some of the barred owls in my area. I mean, I was able to take a picture of one. It was a small one, probably about 16, 17 inches long. That's a small one. They get humongous. I know I've seen them fly across the road during the daytime. My daughter, she got all excited. She knew what it was when she saw it because they swooped down across the road while we were riding.
The great horned owl was the biggest one around here.
Yeah, the barred owls up here are big. I mean,
we had for a car. My wife said, "There's the Mothman." That thing was so freaking big. I was like, you know what? That's really what people could have seen.
You never know. Makes you wonder sometimes. But I am interested. I do little by little. I do try to look into some of these other cryptids. I don't do full research on them. If people share reports to me about something else they might see, I'll take them and I'll document them. But I don't really consider researching on them too much. I rather as far as the Mothman, I rather keep my focus on what's in the woods on the ground, or hiding among us. That's So yeah. Let me see.
Well, I was telling Shaky, mountain monsters, when they came into Morgan County, they had they were looking for a pterodactyl-like creature.
Oh, what is it now?
They were looking for a pterodactyl-like creature. It was in the if you remember that episode. Well, I've seen some creatures walking around through town and outside of town. I ain't never seen them, flying around.
Well, I'll tell you what, I said this in a show that I do with Lale. We got talking about the Mothman, and my thing is, if something hides during the day and comes out at night and it travels at night, you would never know what's up there. If it stays below airplane traffic and just above treetops, you'll never see it because it's so dark.
Right.
Yeah.
So anything could be flying around here at night. You would never know it.
Right. Right.
It just has to hide during the day.
Yep. And then, I think that's something that was adapted. I don't think about the predator stuff as in, deer come out because the all predators come out at night. And
Oh yeah.
part is probably because they've adapted that over the years to stay away from humans. I swear to you not, because all animals have that intelligence that they know when humans are around, they get lost.
Right.
Because humans don't do nothing but destroy and develop and trash and litter. Like I was telling Steve, when I telling you when I was coming up last week, I looked on the side of 9 before you get down, go up down by the golf course and back up, and it's trash on the side. I mean, I don't know where this trash is coming from.
All these
People's
weekend warriors.
Yep.
Yeah, weekend warriors.
Come up here camping and just throwing their crap out. They don't care. They don't live here.
Well, when you're making a lot of noise and you're doing that, animals are getting away. So
Oh yeah.
that's the thing. You don't look for things. Hunting's different. You're sitting still. You're in a blind. You're in a tree stand. You're camoed. You're scented. You know, you have an advantage. Normal people don't have that. So, like people that go out, I went out with people before. You go out. Fred's like a chimney. He's going one after the other. Had other people were like that, smoking one after the other. You don't think animals can smell the tobacco, the cigarette
Oh
smoke?
yeah.
Sure. I mean, not just on your clothes, but when you're just puffing out, and they could pick it up unless you're way downwind from them and they're coming up. But other than that, I mean, when you go out, you gotta be quiet, some deodorant on or something, mask the scent. I don't know, but there's things you have to do because you're not going to get close to anything if you're
Oh
making
yeah.
noise, if you stink, if whatever, make it.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm gonna start doing, and not just for hunting season, because I already got some of it up there. I'm gonna pick up a couple other things. I mean, I like using this different brands, but I like using the dead downwind scent block stuff. I got a set of outdoor wet wipes, by Dead Downwind. I got the clothes spray you can spray on your clothes and gear. I also have the hair and body wash, a big thing of the hair and body wash. Um, I want to get they actually got a deodorant stick. I want to get that too. It's all very cheap, affordable stuff, and it does help eliminate your natural odor. But that's something I might start doing when I go out in the woods. So I plan on you know using that this weekend. um,
There's one thing, the thing I forgot what I was going to say and I forgot was, I think, and this is my opinion, that these creatures, because I'm sure Bigfoot, because all their senses are heightened because they have to use all their senses out in the woods and all, that some people just have that. And not that they're chosen, but some people are, they can sense if a person's a cruel person, a mean person, somebody's going to do them harm, whatever. And there are some people that are lucky to have this where they can sense that in a person, or they choose this person to show themselves to or come around. And there's somebody I'm talking to now that this is going on, and there's a and they're hanging around their property, and I said to her, I said, I think that they can sense that, and you're chosen. And I think that people, when they move, if they get scared and move, that somehow these things follow them. Yeah,
mhm.
that doesn't make any sense, but it does. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because why? How can you move somewhere else and still be having experiences? It's not like
Right.
they just pick up and leave, and they move with you. And I'm sure that the people that own the property beforehand probably had some accounts, and maybe the reason they rolled out, they might have been scared, because as much as you see all this stuff and hear all this stuff and have things done, it still doesn't comprehend in your mind that big feet are real. Bigfoot is real. You know, people that don't believe it, just right away, there's something else. It's always another excuse or something else that they're thinking of. When it's actually what they don't want to believe it is the truth. And sometimes, like this person, these people sold a newer house, beautiful house, land. I think they probably got scared out of there, and probably to this day still don't believe what was going on was a Bigfoot. And these other people come in, they move into the house, nice beautiful house. Oh wow. And they have this land, and these creatures are still moving through. And like I said, generation after generation of these the family clans, just like us, they keep having offspring. And they probably roam right through this territory, and now that they're developing it, they're being pushed, they're being squeezed. So people are getting to see more of these creatures because there's nowhere else for them to go. Where are you going to
Right.
go? I mean, like I said, that all that ground was tore up, all those woods, perfect to get down to the water from there. And it tore it all up. Now it's all these townhomes and shit developed up. And now this is a pathway that these creatures have been using for these generations. Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
I guess they migrate like caribou and shit up in Alaska. I mean, they go through a certain area all the time. And it's like considered their area. I know they're said to be territorial. They didn't growl at me or anything like that, but I've been pretty close to these things. And it's crazy. And I want to see one. And I wouldn't harm one. I don't even hunt anymore because I don't want to kill anything. So obviously, if I'm around, they can sense it. I'm not doing them any harm.
Right.
But yet, I haven't been lucky enough to see one, and been that close many times. So, what is it about me? Is it the Old Spice I wear? I don't like that. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you know, and that's the thing. It draws you, and I think that people that's the ones that are like, you know, they're totally more or less mummified because they get to see them, and then they probably see them more than once, and they're like chosen people. And then people
Yeah.
like us, it's like if it's not a chance sighting where you got lucky, it's like hitting the lottery, especially if you're roaming around in the woods. Because obviously, if they're anywhere close, they're seeing you,
Yeah.
smelling you, sensing you, hearing you. Plain and simple. Yeah, we've lost our senses as human beings. We've lost a lot of stuff because of technology. You know, these people that live off the grid and live out in the wild, they bring their senses back up. They heighten their senses because they have to use them more out there. You know,
Yeah.
we don't need them. We don't need them anymore. It's like anything else. You don't use it, you lose it. That's crazy though. I'm just feel bad because I'm 48. Who knows how much longer I'm going to live? But I'd like to actually lay my eyes on one. I don't want to go up and shake its hand, but I like to see one with my own eyes. I know they're real, but that just, you know, solidifies everything for me. I don't have to show
Yeah.
anybody pictures and everything else. You know, it's self-knowledge and action that is going to be gained by
Anything good on the chat?
What, Steve, you want to get $1 million for a picture?
Who's going to believe it if I take a picture? They're going to
I
call it
know,
up.
that's
They're gonna
exactly
call it
right.
up. You know,
You'll be
some people
crucified
might
if you
believe
put a
it.
picture up for one. Right.
You know,
Everybody
what's
and
the
their
point
mother.
of looking in agony?
I'm going to tell you exactly why it is. It has nothing to do with the picture being real. People are jealous and they'll do anything to knock that down because that means you're in the money, right? Everybody's out there trying to get this for their money. Nobody, it's only certain people that do it for their own satisfaction. Everybody else wants the mega bucks. That's nice to have mega bucks. I'd rather have a sighting first.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You know, that's like great Ghost, man. He got an excellent picture of a little one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then half the people that see it, some of them believe it, but then half the other people, oh, it ain't real, that ain't real. That's the, you
It's a
know.
Muppet. It's a Muppet. It looks like a Muppet, right? He borrowed it from Todd Standing. That's what he did. He put it.
Well, you know, it's like what you were saying. Talking about some people lucky, might be just lucky that they get to see him. And
Sure.
I mean, I know I spoke to a few different people, and I've heard this. They've all said, well, something very similar to each other. I've been researching. I've been involved with this for over 40 years. I've never seen one. One guy said, I've seen one in my 50-something years. I said, well, and for those who don't, I believe it's like sitting and being patient for a deer. You might not see one, you might, but it's like being out in the research when you're putting yourself in this field, and it takes dedication, it takes time and patience. I mean,
well, look at people like Derek Randall's. It's consumed them. They're in the woods 24/7, 365. He saw it when he was younger, and he's at the point where he's not going to stop until he sees another one and brings back proof.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd love to be like that, because I'd rather be out in the woods away from people than even here in the suburbs around people like this all the time. It's just good for your mind.
I don't understand how people go in the woods, and I'm not naming anybody, but how do you go in the woods and see one every time you're in the woods? I can go sit in the woods, and there's thousands of deer, but I don't see a deer every time I go in the woods.
Right. I've never seen a bear.
See a Bigfoot,
Right.
I believe in Alaska. There's people.
I've never seen a Bigfoot. Never seen a bear. I've never seen a bear in the wild.
Well, come on up here, man. For you.
Yeah. I see them almost every time. A bear, some people might consider them rare. Well, not really rare. I compare them a lot to Bigfoot, and to me, I consider them they're very elusive.
Stay away.
But at the same time, yeah, I see them not every time, but I do see them. I've been seeing a lot of them lately. Every time, the last 2 times I've been in the woods, I've seen them. But I do see a lot of bears. I see when they're running. A lot of times when I'm seeing them, they've already taken notice of me, and they're usually headed in the opposite direction.
Well, this is the time of year you're going to see them too, because they're foraging. They're trying to.
Right. I've had one in my driveway for 2 weeks. One night, last week and week before last, I had one in my driveway. So I've seen 2 bears in 2 weeks.
I ain't a driveway. That's a freaking landmine.
Goat trail. You go way up in Alaska. I'm sure there's somebody living in Alaska that's way off the grid that's dealing with these things on a regular basis. But I don't think it's every day. I think they're seeing them, once a month or once or twice a year. I don't think they're having full contact with them.
The last Alaskans or whatever the show was, that guy said that he got scared, something was chasing him, following through the woods. Yeah. Well, some animals, I guess a mountain lion could stalk you, but he was talking like it wasn't a mountain lion.
One guy said he saw a Bigfoot. He didn't stop at night because he said a Bigfoot was following him.
Yeah, wanted to get home. Right. And everybody jumped on Les Stroud because some of his shows before, just Survivor Man shows, before he started doing this, something provoked him because he didn't believe, and he's from Canada and been out in the woods for months at a time. Something provoked him to start the show and get investigating in this.
He was in Alaska. It was in Alaska. He was doing a show in Alaska.
It was another, him and his ex-wife were out one time.
Yeah.
Saying, and then it was another, because I listened to his radio show. He did something with Joe Rogan. He had him on.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan was going to go out with him. I was like, oh, yeah, right, Joe. When are the new? Anybody hear about when the new shows?
No.
I know Les Stroud made some more shows since the last one. It's been a while.
Yeah, I like watching his his Bigfoot episodes.
Right.
I mean, one thing I like about I don't know if a lot of people notice this, but this is one thing I like about Les Stroud. When he's out there, he does try to rule everything out. He has a pretty good logical explanation for a lot of the stuff he finds.
He's still on the fence.
Right.
Because even though he's been out there, now he's listening to some people who are telling him, you got to look for this, you got to look for that. Because he said there's no apes in Alaska. There's no giant apes making that noise. Nobody's shaking a tree. The tree was shaking. Something walked up bipedal to his tent with his wife and him in it. And he said he yelled out, hey, who's there? And it stopped and walked away. There's nothing out there walking. There's no people out there where he was at, he said. He was out in the middle of nowhere.
Good way to get killed.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And when he went up there, the show where he went with Todd standing back up on that hill, and he had the candy bars and the apple in the tree, you can actually see the picture. It looks like a morph form climbing up the tree, and the branch was shaking. And then the camera cuts out, the apple's gone, and the candy bars are gone. Now, how do you explain that?
Something moved faster than the camera did. These cameras don't take a picture right away. I mean, there's a split second or a second or two before they register that movement, before they take that picture or start filming or whatever they do. So whatever was fast enough. It got up there, snatched that thing out the tree, and was gone.
Yeah, but there was 2 candy bars on the other branches lower, and the apple was up higher. So it had to have octopus. It must have been an octopus.
I know, you see a blur.
That's why I set my trail cams on 30-second clips.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes you get a deer run through and then you got nothing for, 28 seconds. But
Yeah.
I have to go through all that junk, and I understand how people are that put cameras out that, I have, 40, 50 short videos eat up all my memory and kill the batteries. And I got to go through each one. And, I've seen, Steve, I was telling you, I got a weasel, I got a groundhog, possum, raccoon, no squirrels, no skunk, deer, coyote, but no bear, no Bigfoot that I know of. I even rabbits, cats, all different colored cats. Where are these cats coming from? Now you think the coyote and the fox that live in my bushes, the coyotes would be eating them, or that fox would be eating them.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that, but the cats are around all over the place. I never see them during the day.
You'd be surprised how many feral dogs and cats there are in the woods. I'm not talking about coyotes or wolves. I mean feral dogs. They're everywhere.
Right.
They're everywhere.
They're probably smart and stay away from humans too. I'm serious.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what kind of trail camera you got, but I have, I know different trail cameras have different settings and stuff. I know mine. After researching
pictures, one photo, 3 photos, and
yeah,
10-second clip, 30-second clip.
Right. That's very similar to mine, because I know I was recently looking into some more, and I actually found some that were actually better than my good one. And the one I got, I'm happy with it. Don't get me wrong. I just need to put it to more use. Although there is, like I said, there's better ones than this one. But my Browning Night Ops one. Sometimes it's hard to make up my mind when I'm setting it. Do I want it on video or do I want it on photos? I mean, I could do up to 10 rapid fire photos. As far as the delay between photos or shots, I mean. Yeah, I think I could set it for as low as 5 seconds.
The cameras are they're Moultrie's, the Trace Primuses.
Oh, okay. What my other trail camera is a Moultrie.
You know what I can't do? I can't update the firmware, because if they're more than a year old, and obviously I got them at Ollie's. They were $159 cameras I got for $59 at Ollie's, because they bought some.
Oh yeah.
So they were sitting in the boxes for probably 2-3 years. So they're outdated. The firmware is outdated, so you can't update the firmware, which sucks.
Did you try to? Yeah. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you try to plug it into your computer and do it that way, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't find that for that particular camera.
Huh. Yeah, mine. Yeah, like I said, I like mine because I didn't know it records. I know it picked up audio, but like, was it 2 years ago when I first got it? Mine picked up. I learned that it starts recording if you have it on video mode. Mine will start recording if it hears something before it sees it, which I was actually very impressed with that. Because I had one time I was watching. I said, "Well, what's set my camera off?" So I'm sitting there watching this video, and I wearing the same headset. You can hear steps. You can hear movement, and next here comes a hunter walk right by it within 2-3 feet. Then there was another one I heard smaller movement. I was like, okay, I hear something moving what the heck is it? Here comes a deer. That was like an hour after that same photo. The hunter came through. The deer came through an hour later. I was like, ain't that something?
Daniel, do you remember seeing that video where the guy had a game camera set up behind his house, and a little Mexican guy came walking through and dropped his drawers and was pooping? and then looked up and saw the camera. Oh, if I get it, I'll send it to you. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, that I'm not familiar with that one. No.
It's hilarious. The guy sitting there just squats, and he sits there and he looks up, then he realizes there's a camera on a tree.
Wow.
Something.
Yeah, I've had people do some weird stuff before. So, hold on, Michael just sent a photo here. Hold on.
Mike, if you're going to be around next week, come up here on Wednesday or so, Wednesday or Thursday. We'll sit on the porch at night if it's not weather's not raining or windy, and listen, because I've been here in the house, so maybe you get lucky and hear something.
I got all the shits up in West Virginia.
Well, my birthday's Wednesday, so come up.
Yeah, Mike, that's a nice camera though. That's a nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, my other
$39 a piece. But
my other trail camera is a Moultrie. I have the Moultrie D5 model.
I think I want to find people walking through my yard more than, and I got a big yard. I want to find people walking, cutting through there instead of finding animals, I guess. Because I'm gonna throw some bacon grease out and some donuts out by the camera, see if I can get a bear up in the.
You have a bear come in there.
I'm gonna get a bear up in the yard. Like yeah.
Hey Daniel, is there anything up on the chat coming up, or?
Let me get back. Let me see what we got, because I was actually going back and forth.
I'm just curious.
Let me refresh the chat here.
I got almost 1,000. I got almost 1,000 Facebook posts from my birthday.
Oh wow!
Well, I know a lot of people. Got to remember, I've been in semi-pro football for years. I got football players, and then working in bars, bartending and bouncing for 22 years. I had a lot of friends accumulated from that.
Let's see. Let's see, Samuel Crane. Some of the discussions were on the live chat were from what we were talking about earlier.
How many people are on there? Does it say who's in there?
Right now, looking at the screen, it's showing 4 viewers at the moment. We had more earlier.
Who is it?
But there's still, well, the people on the chat that are chatting is Nincompoop, Pokey, and hold on, I saw Nikki. Nikki was on here. Nikki calling. I don't know if she's still on or not. But right now it looks like Nincompoop and Pokey is.
Pokemon, huh?
Nah, Pokey. Her name. She's on my Facebook page. Her name's Melissa. Yeah.
Look on my wall and look how many people put Sasquatch shit up on my wall.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Hey, they tease me. They've been teasing me for years. Some of them are probably moving to the bright side instead of on the dark side because all the crap that's been out. And even with not finding Bigfoot running for all those years, people got interested in it and started watching it. And maybe because of it being on TV, people started saying, huh, yeah. Well, you got to understand, there's a lot of people that live, the density of people, the population is in and around cities. So that's a huge chunk of the population. So if they're taking a survey and they're asking 1 million people in the city and 500,000 in the suburbs or in the counties area or out in the woods area, you kind of figure that 99% of the city people who don't leave the city are going to say, I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
So if they take a census population, you can't do it by just questioning or taking that on everybody, because everybody doesn't go other than to work and home and shopping at the mall and stuff like that. They're not out there looking.
Oh yeah.
I got friends that hunt that now are actually looking for things that I tell them to because they've seen this before. They've seen tree structures or branches broken that they couldn't explain, and now they're looking for it when they go hunting.
Yeah, it's like it's same. Yeah, same thing. Me and my buddy from work out last weekend. We camped. I almost wasn't really going to camp, but I met up with him at his house, and he knew the area that I wanted to get into. Well, the area I've camped at before that's related to this area. Well, there was one other specific area. It was a little further west of where we were before, and he knows this area like the back of his head. I mean, so I met up with him, and after hanging out with him at his house, he's like, "Look," I told him, I said, "I might not camp." I said, "I brought my camping gear just in case." He threw the stuff in the back of his truck. He said, "Come on, let's go." We stopped at the store. We ended up picking up a few things just to have to eat. We ended up camping there, but all right, this guy here, he's part of the E.C.B.R.O team. He's one of my researchers. He's a gentleman I spoke about earlier. He's a skeptic. All right, now he could probably name every animal that makes every name in sound of the woods. That's how much he knows wildlife out there. He grew up in these woods. He literally lived in the woods. On times on end. And don't get me wrong. Like I said, he tells me this is how he presents himself. He said, "Daniel, I'm a skeptic." He said, I can't say there's a Bigfoot out here. I can't say there's whatever, but I believe there's something out here. And and because as far as the finding the tracks and everything, he says, that wasn't something I was looking for. Now it's got me looking, because he just saw from when we got to the site where he camps at. I was like, after we got set up, he saw me just scouting around in the area. I walked this way, I went down that way, this way, and and even close to camp, I'm looking in the ground. I said, "Richard, come over here, look at this." And he said, "See, I don't normally look for this stuff." He saw what I was showing him. If I took a picture of it, you guys probably wouldn't have been able to make it out. But he saw what I was showing him. He said, "Wow, that does look humanoid." But hey, he doesn't look for that stuff. It's like our hunters. There's people that are not programmed to look for it. Unless you're looking for it and focus on it, you're not going to come across these things, because you can normally walk through the woods. You got a clearing. You're going to look for deer sign if you're deer hunting. You're going to look for bear sign if you're. I mean, I find these things and I don't try to look for them. It's obvious stuff that stands out. You got your bear scat, you got deer drops, whatever, so forth. But till I started pointing stuff out to him, from he's camped here all his life. Most of his life growing up, this was his area. He has explained that he has heard things that he couldn't explain, but Bigfoot never crossed the mind. So yeah, there's people that are out there that spend time in the woods that know a wildlife, but yet, their mind's not set on looking for signs of Bigfoot. So here I am. I mean, I'm sharing information with him, and I'm showing him how I find stuff. I was like, so he's kind of coming together. He admitted to me while we were out there. He's like, "Daniel," he said, "the more and more I'm learning about stuff out here, I'm giving it a lot more consideration. I'm starting to lean more towards it." I mean, my father was the same way. I mean, I present stuff to my father, my findings. I said, "Dad, this is what I experienced." Dad, and finally he got to get out there with me and have that little experience. That was nothing compared to what I've had before. But I say, it takes a lot more time to really gain experience and for something to happen or to find stuff. It takes a lot of time, but yet you got to be, you got to have it in your mindset. That's what you're looking for. You can't just bypass, keep walking and expect to find something. You got to take your time, slow down, look, be observant, because I've overlooked stuff before, like I've had my daughter in the woods with me before. I walked right by stuff. She called me back. I've got my daughter to the point where she points stuff out to me. I was like, wow, how did I miss that? Stuff like that, But yeah, if people, you're skeptics and unbelievers, if they get out in the woods like that and they want to, look for Bigfoot, or they want to, they're not going to, some might not even bother, but, start looking, open your eyes, look around, and then if you come across a humanoid track, question yourself about it. What am I looking at? Was somebody here walking barefoot, or whatever? I mean, I don't know. So But I do want to make an announcement here because we're gonna probably actually end up jumping off here because I got to get myself to bed here. And work on getting a few other things together because, like I said, I'm leaving out tomorrow after work. I do want to promote and announce again about Don Peak's Wilderness Adventure. Don Peak has a like page. If you go on their Facebook and do a search, if you're not familiar with Don Peak, you can look up Don Peak. Again, it's called his Facebook page is called Wilderness Adventures. All right. He has been posting a lot of the guest speakers for his event for the Bigfoot/Dogman Conference, which will be held in Louisville, Kentucky, May 20th of 2017. He's been posting all the speakers on his page, and every time he posts, I've actually been sharing them. If you're familiar with the ECBRO page, the like page, not the Facebook forums, but the ECBRO Facebook like page, I've been sharing all his information on there too. So you can check out all his upcoming guests on there. He'll have his guest speakers. He's got a lot of speakers lining up right now. And a lot of you will be familiar with them. And so, yeah, again, go check that out. Either go to the World Don Peak, which is Don Peak, Peak, Wilderness Adventures. If you haven't done so, like his page. Give his page a like. If you haven't done so, give the E.C.B.R.O. like page a like. And again, as further information progresses, I will be updating more posts and blog. I'll be sharing more blogs with information regarding the E.C.B.R.O. Discovery Project. Right now, we don't expect anything to happen anytime soon until we get to know the area. I mean, if something does happen, that's awesome. But if we happen to somehow get evidence beforehand, before we really get into this, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's in the works right now. We're, with the project, the way we're taking it to the next level. There's a lot of information I like to just kind of get into, start saying more things more openly, but we just really want to be careful with what we're doing. Like I said, we're looking at this area as a serious location. It's very hot there. When I say hot, I mean hot. Because just in the surrounding area, not the specific spot, but just on the outside of it, I found enough. I've heard enough. But now it's up to us to get in there and actually capture the evidence and find the details that we need, that we want to, more or less share with the public. And we're going to work on a way to present everything in the most professional manner possible. And that's part of what Greg Corbin is working on for us. So how we're going to start presenting our evidence, our information, and just us in general. But while you two guys are on here, like I said, if you guys, I would love. I'm throwing the invite. I would love for you guys to be a part of this. It's only a couple of us involved with this. Actually, me and two others. So, and I definitely want to get you guys involved if you guys are wanting to participate in this. I mean, I don't think it's too far for you guys. I mean, I'll be glad to share this further information with you guys off air. But I think this might be something you guys might want to, look into if you guys are interested. And for viewers, if you haven't done so, subscribe to us here on YouTube channel ECBRO 98. And Shaky, are you and Lael still having your shows?
We are, but we're on a break for a couple weeks. I'm not getting into her business publicly. She broke a bone, and I'm letting her take time to get herself back together. I want her healed up. But I know it can be, hell trying to do a show if you're in pain or uncomfortable. Yeah. And then, next weekend, next week's my birthday, and next weekend's apple butter. So I'm just kind of, maybe after next week, we'll start back up in 2 weeks. So that enough time to get a little break in, and yeah, we're still going at it, just taking a little break.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally understand that. That's why my focus right now is with the E.C.B.R.O Discovery Project. You know, because actually, you know, like I said, there's only a few of us involved. But, you know, as far as I do want a few others to be involved. That's why, you know, I would love for you and, you know, Chu to be a part of it. You know, and I'm not just throwing it out. I'm not throwing a public invite to other people. It's by invite only. We don't want a lot of people to know about this area. Only very few trusted individuals are more or less being invited. I mean, there's a lot of trusted individuals, but we want to keep it a small group. We want to work on it together. If others, with others that we invite, if they want to go in there on their own, that's fine, you know, and let them get, you know, because they might get something that we don't, you know. But so yeah, it's a very very serious, interesting location.
I'm gonna say, let me say this real quick, Daniel. If y'all are
Yeah.
researching an area, keep it to yourselves. Don't tell anybody where you're at. For number one, if somebody knows where you're at, they, you know, you have a more higher chance of someone coming in and trying to hoax you. And the
Absolutely.
second thing is, we have a friend, Ty, and she was talking about her area, and now she's dealing with people coming in her area and trying to take over. You know, so just if you've got a good area, keep it to yourselves. Because when you tell somebody, you're gonna have one or two problems, and you don't need them.
Yep.
You don't need them.
And for the with that being said, for the record, don't get the do not get the BFRO involved because it won't be your area no more. And anything you might have credible in the area will be documented by them, and it'll be declared theirs. That's a fact.
And the,
So
and the thing is, public land, there's nothing you can do about it. Even though it's your area, there's nothing you can do about public land.
that's absolutely. Yep. That's why yeah, we feel it's important for us and for others. If you have evidence, you got something that you feel that's incredible, if you start telling people, hey, this is where I'm finding it, then you won't be able to, you can't honestly rule out, well, somebody did this. Well, I mean, or that this was strictly Bigfoot. If you got other people coming in the area, you don't know if that's them messing with it. So that's part of why the ECBRO is taking this up to another level. We're no longer giving off location.
Another reason I'm saying this because you made a post here last week and somebody made a comment on that post. Well, you don't want to share your information. It's not the fact you don't want to share your information but to do proper research, accurate research, you need to keep it hush where you're at so you don't have a contamination.
Right.
It's not that we're not, you know, Dale's not trying to share. It's the fact that some things don't need to be shared for confidential reasons.
Right. Absolutely.
Nobody's trying to be mean, rude, or anything else about it. It's just say,
oh yeah, and like I stated before, I mean, I have no problem sharing stuff. I mean, I will be sharing stuff, but there's certain things we are going to hold back on. As far as activity, I mean, we'll share activity. You know, anything that we might experience. You know, then as far as, you know, I'm going to continue to share anything that I learn that's knowledge. I know I'm going to share. I love sharing. If I know something, if it's something I've learned through either study or observation or whatever experience, I'm going to share it. You know, and you know, because it'll help others. I think it'll help enlighten others. You know, because others might be experiencing something, and we might be able to come together and come to a conclusion on why or what's happening or whatever. Um, so yeah, it's something that, you know, just pay attention to. You know,
Here's something. Some
yeah,
people that that I deal with don't want anything disclosed, so it's hard to go against their word if they're inviting you in and letting you check out the property. And then I've had some other people that have contacted me, and they it's like they won't disclose their location. It's not like I said earlier. I'm not going to go in there like the Orkin man and exterminate them. So, I mean, if I go there and check things out, I'm just looking around to see if I can find any evidence or anything at all. And
right,
a lot of people want to talk and get it off their chest, but they really don't want to have people coming around on their property and everything. But I like that.
right,
I like that when I can talk to people, with people, and they can tell me that, you know, what's going on, because, you know, you never know. They might come back one day and say, "Hey, can you come over here and check this out, please?" You
right.
don't know. So you have to you got to take everything with a grain of salt, but you have to listen. You have to listen to these people because a lot of them have stuff to tell, and they probably can't tell anybody. You know, they're afraid to tell somebody, and a lot of people are still like that. You know, they don't want to. They don't want anybody to call them nuts. They don't want anybody to know anything about their personal life or anything, and they're probably scared. And these
Right.
things are scary. You know, it's. I mean, look that thing right. Look at this guy right here, right there. My goodness, if he was say he was roaming around your property, got lost deer hunting, and was roaming.
Hey, this ain't one of them freaking clowns, man.
Somebody told me I need to turn the light up. They can't see my beautiful face. I just got a message.
Leave it down, please. Don't turn the light up. You don't want to see that face.
I told him Mr. Fee was hogging up the camera. Little black bastard. Where's he at?
Hey, oh, Nikki was asking who you are, Mike. Nikki calling. She don't know who you are. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm the stud master of Dundalk. Now
that's my legitimate twin brother that you don't know
about. I got a twin sister. I do have a twin sister. What are you laughing at?
What's it?
I was here. I'll give you a little. I was Polish for 36 years, and for the last 12 years, I've been Italian. There you go.
How could you be one and the other? Can't you be both?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, what the hell? I can't change my name. You know, when you, it's not like I live in my parents' basement. You know, when you start accumulating stuff when you're younger, you're not going to change your name. You know,
right.
I'm not going to change my name for bank accounts. So, like on certain things, I'll put my real name. I don't want to be like some of these crickets out here. You got 6 different last names because they don't know who their daddy is. So, you know, I'll put it on stuff. All my names are.
Yeah.
If I put it on the back of my football jersey, I'd be screwed. It'd be like, I mean, it'd have to start down at one hip and run all the way around to the other.
Well, it's like the you know, the old rocks. What's the name? Ricky Valens from back in the 50s. You know, his original name was something. It was long name Valenzuela's some.
Oh yeah, Richie Valens. Right. He had a Hispanic name and it was real long.
Yeah, so the record recorder, hey, let's do this. Let's make it short and simple, you know.
Hey, can we go back to like way back in the show when you were talking about the rock throwing stuff? Was that down at your area, Dan?
Oh yeah.
Because you know, as long as I don't think I've ever had anything thrown at me.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had any. You know, you know what I used to do when I go to certain places? I would urinate around the area. I swear to God. And
you know, it's funny that you said I do this. I've been doing the same thing.
Right, but I mean, not just because I had to go to the bathroom, because I wanted to try to attract attention. If there was something around and you urinate, especially something that big, you get pissed off.
Yeah.
You heard Les Stroud talked about that. Something comes over and poops, and it's this and this is animal's area. They're gonna go let the dogs do that. Okay, so this animal comes over and says, I can't believe somebody pooped in my area, and then drops a load right next to it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's pretty crazy, but that is territorial.
Right.
And when humans do stupid shit like that, not with feces or urine, but humans do that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Fence posts, you know, fencing or doing, you know, just retarded stuff. So
yeah.
These animals have a lot of human in them.
Well, you know, I'm questioning what the sound that we heard when we camped this past weekend. We automatically assumed it was a bear. Well, Richard said when we heard that, we both heard it very clear, loud and clear. It was very close to camp.
Grunt.
Well, he said it was a grunt. I heard it as like a. Now, yeah, that sounds like a bear, you know, and it sounded very close, and it didn't sound like a young bear either. It was definitely like a much mature bear, you know, because as soon as we heard
that noise.
Yeah, and it sounds like as soon as we heard that, Richard said, "That's a freaking bear." So I happened to pick up a frying pan. He picked something up. We started banging shit together. But I mean, the thing is, I had, I was packing, but still, that was in my backpack, but I keep that right next to where I sleep. So, but I told him, I said, well, if you get woke up, if bear's getting into your tent, if you could wake me up, I'm a sound sleeper. I sleep pretty good most of the time. I was like, I'll hit the panic button on my, on my keys, so set the horn off, whatever. But, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I keep thinking about that sound. I was like, what if it wasn't a bear? But
well, it was somebody hoaxing. You remember the clown that ran across the road in the ghillie suit in Utah and got run over?
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, but
you never heard of that one?
I can't say that I have. No,
Steve, you hear that one? The guy out in was it Utah or Montana who ran across the road in a ghillie suit in front of a car?
Oh, wait a minute.
Ran out in front of traffic or something and got run over.
Now, I heard about a guy who did that dressed up in a Bigfoot costume. I don't know if it happened.
A ghillie suit on.
Okay.
Now I can understand if somebody gets, see, if you do that kind of shit, if you're in the woods and say you're trying to hoax with hunters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bad mistake.
Well, right away, you're an animal, you're a Bigfoot, and they don't care, and they're not, they're pro kill, and then you eat a bullet because you're running around in a costume trying to scare somebody or hoax somebody.
Absolutely. See, a lot of people don't realize the danger involved with that kind of hoaxing, So.
I swear it looks like Steve's out somewhere. Are you in China? Because it's sunny in China right now. It's broad daylight. Look at him.
He must have the porch light on, I'll bet. Oh, Lord. He's paying you no mind right now, Mike. So
it's raining so hard here right now, I can't hear nothing he's saying.
Really?
Coming down.
Do I have to go check on my house? Do I gotta make sure my house ain't floating away now?
Where's it gonna go? DC?
Right out in the Potomac. Right down the Cape into the Potomac.
Oh man.
That means I gotta cut my grass. I gotta come up tomorrow. As soon as it stops raining, I gotta cut my grass because the shit grows like a weed.
I better get that lawnmower back down there before you come back up there then.
I got the new riding mower in the garage. Go ahead and get it. Go get it. You want to use it? I don't know. What do we?
Frog was cutting his grass with your rod yesterday. I shouldn't tell you that, should I?
What? Took my fishing rods out of the house?
Frog was cutting his grass with your mower.
I'll stick his ass in a jar and pickle his little ass. Hey, what are you going to send that? Are you going to send the location? Are you going to text it, or are you going to send a messenger, or what?
Well, this particular location, I wouldn't know how to actually. I would have to meet you guys and bring you, like, you. That's the thing. If you guys wanted to get in there, I would have to meet you guys somewhere. We could have, because it's kind of hard to explain. It's very, let's just say it's well off the beaten path.
Where the barn used to be, and take a right by the old oak tree and take a left down by the old.
I can see this now. I got the only vehicle that'll make it back in there, so I guarantee I got to drive.
Yeah, you definitely go up and then up the mountain, down the mountain,
I'll put the carrier rack on the back, and we can put Stevie on the back.
Yeah, I posted pictures of. Have you guys seen the pictures of the power line area? You got the set of power line, and you got nothing but straight forest.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, we were camping right. That's where we were, just down below there. Right, we were underneath those power lines right there. That's where we were.
Did you have to get access to go up in there? Was it?
Yeah, it's actually
Edison. Who's it?
What's
the
that?
power company down there?
That area there, I'm not sure. No, I don't know. Or it could be. What's the other one that's out here? Shenandoah, I think one of them. See, it's weird. Shenandoah has. It's weird how they have their territory. There could be Virginia. Virginia Power or whatever. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure who that. This area here is a. I'm not familiar with this county right here because it's actually bordering. Like I said, it's bordering another state. I'm basically right there on the line.
Oh, you're West Virginia, Virginia?
Yeah. So.
I didn't think, huh? I didn't think he was in Kentucky.
Stop being so damn nosy. He'll tell you if he wants you to know.
We know he ain't traveling that far. Come on. And there's only, what are you going to, is it Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Virginia, Kentucky,
You was
Virginia?
joking when I said he was my brother. Shit.
Right. He ain't going all the way down to Bristol, and it'll be Tennessee, Virginia. There you go.
Go.
It's Virginia, California.
It's up in here.
California,
Yeah.
Virginia, that's what it is.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll get you guys some information on that later though. So, but I'm not gonna. We're still live, so I ain't gonna say nothing right now.
And what's his face contact you? We were
Huh?
supposed to have this a couple weeks ago. What was his name? The guy
I'm not sure.
That one night.
I can't hear nothing.
A couple weeks ago. The guy from
Wait,
New York.
who are you talking to? Me or
you? New York. The guy from New York.
Oh yeah, you talking about Sid Prince? Yeah,
Sid Prince,
yeah, I had something come up. Well, I was unable to do anything.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, did he contact you back about setting something back up?
No, I haven't been in contact with him since. He's still around. I just haven't talked to him. He's still there. He's on my Facebook and everything.
Right.
But I definitely do want to get that going because that was some interesting information we were discussing on that. So,
well, another thing with something like that, that'll bring in a different kind of audience too. You'll have a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So and then
people,
huh? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say because it's funny because I've seen in other groups there's images, pictures that people were discussing in other groups that he's familiar with, that he has pictures of on his site that he's visited, and it's like ancient stuff. It's ancient stuff with like pictures of like what appears to be a dinosaur, and or way back in certain other lands and stuff. But I don't know. There's all kinds of weird stuff on there that I would like to get into. And I mean, I know that once we do get them on, it's going to be one random. I mean, I can see us going from one thing to another, which makes it hard for some people to follow. But it's usually how most of our shows, podcasts, and shows go anyway. So, but which that's what makes it interesting, though. So. But yeah, when that gets around, I'll re-announce that and get that lined up when we do get that going. I think what I want to do when I do have the next radio show is get a bunch of us on there, and because it's only about 7 months away, between 6 and 7 months away. We got the Kentucky Bigfoot and Dogman conference coming up, so I'd like to get a few of us on there discussing that, and and then of course any other information that might pop up, as far as anything that I might want to share. I might do that through either a podcast, or sometimes I do the the live Facebook page recordings and stuff. So,
What's he doing?
huh? I know. It sounds like he's opening something up.
Something like eating potato chips. Look at him. Eating potato chips, crunching all up in the screen.
All right, Pecker. So,
Jeez.
Corn and they're baked there, Pud.
Oh Lord. Well, I'll tell you what, gentlemen. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream. We had a very interesting discussion here. We went into some pretty good stuff here. So, for viewers, again, be on the lookout. Again, go to Don Peak's Wilderness Adventures. Check out his post, like his page. You can see a lot of the information regarding the ECBRO and the ECBRO Discovery Project. There's information both on the ECBRO like page, and I have it openly on my timeline. If you want to see further information, if you're not on Facebook, check out the website, check out the blogs and the pages through the ECBRO.wordpress. Excuse me, I said it wrong. www.ecbro.wordpress.com. So feel free to check that out. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the website, and because I will be posting more soon, hopefully. So I think that'll be it. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, Pete.